So I opened up VS Code and it had all the code from last week, and it looks a little bit like this, and it looks exactly like this, and it made me a bit sad because this is not the beautiful expressive language I was hoping to use, or the beautiful expressive code I was hoping to write. It's a bit of a mess. So in this episode, I gotta get this working and plug it into the application, but I really want to go back and see if we can make it look less terrible, I guess. That's my aim for today. Actually, the display's gone a bit funny here. I don't know why it's started doing this. That must be a new thing in VS Code. That's actually quite annoying. I have to find out how to turn it off. Anyway, yeah, let's get to it. So at the end of the last episode, I was adding these functions to effectively implement what used to be the storage type class. So but it's not generic anymore. So I'm adding specific functions to add an episode or add a topic or add whatever else. I think, yeah, I was just doing the addition, wasn't I? So adding a host, it has its own function, and adding participant has its own function, and adding an episode is actually quite a lot of work. This is why it's quite so long. And then we got some lookups down here as well that are used. I could probably reuse them for doing the other functions I need for hosts and participants. Find out. But I haven't tested them yet. I haven't finished writing them, I suppose, because there are a lot more functions I'm going to need. But also I don't have this table, so it's got these tables of episodes and episode participants and episode suggested topics, which just don't exist yet. So maybe the very first thing I can do is add them, but then how would I test the code? Doesn't really make sense. What I might do is finish off the interface for hosts, and then I'll see if I can just get that host command working on its own, and then I'll flesh out participants and topics and then episodes. Let's do that. So if we have a look at commands for hosts, that'll be in cast. So we can add them, we can remove them, we can list them. So when we add a host, this is add unless exists. Oh wow, we need to do that as well. So adding less exists, I could just do it with an index now. I don't actually need the adding less exists, because what it did before was loaded the whole cast and checked. Well, actually, I can't do it with an index, I don't think. At least not the way I structured the database. So I have separate tables for hosts and participants. I could do it if I added a host for people and then link them into a hosts table and link them into a participants table, or even just have a people table and add a flag on there saying whether they're host or participant. Actually, the nice thing about that is it would reduce the queries. I wouldn't have to treat participants separately. Okay. So what we could do, I'm going to have to find that setting. What is this new setting where it's highlighting random lines at the top? I mean, I guess it's trying to do some kind of outline thing, isn't it? VS Code, why have you changed? Why did you update yourself just before I started streaming? I'll learn to ignore it in a second. It's just disconcerting because it looks different. Okay, I could do something like add people and given some connection and a person and a boolean, we'll run something under IO where a person is I'll make it a new tab actually. A person is someone with a name, basically. Person is a record, and it'll be something like get name, which is some text. Deriving stock show inequality for now, and order, why not? We'll just import text. Okay, so add people is it's not adding people, it's add person, I guess. And add person is going to take the DB. It's going to take a person and an is host, and then we'll do this. And then just pure nothing. Okay, pure unit. So we're going to insert into people name and is host these values. So we'll do get name of P, and we will do is host. And that's complaining because couldn't match type text with actual type bool. Why does that have to be text? That's interesting. I thought you could just insert anything. I thought this was not a list of text, it's a list of it says a list of text. I thought execute took a list of valuable things. Yeah, Q is to row things. So why does it think it's text? Oh, wait a second, because I can't have, sorry, Q was not the values inside the list, it's the list itself. It's not a list of queues, it is a queue. So you don't do it with that. I guess you do it with a tuple. Can you do it with a tuple? Yes, you can. Okay, so because of different types, I can't put them all in the same list. Okay, so that'll insert into people, which doesn't exist yet. So what I'm going to do is go in the API. I'm going to create a directory called SQL. Is that right? Yeah, create something SQL, and I'm just going to create a massive SQL file to create all my tables. Schema.sql, and I can't remember any SQL, so it'll be something like create table, and this is going to be called people. Did I call it people? Yes, I did. You got to capitalize all the things. Oh, it's not proper SQL. So it's going to have an ID, which is a serial, and a name, which is text. Can you say text? Can't remember. And we have is host, which is a Boolean. And then I'm going to actually do create table unless exists, and I can't remember the syntax for that, but it's probably just exactly that. Create table unless exists. Oh, uncheck sticky scroll settings. This might be the greatest comment I've ever read. Oh, no, that was not the thing I wanted to do. That's the thing. Sticky scroll. Workbench tree, sticky scroll. Wasn't quite that. Keep doing the wrong key binding. Sticky. Sticky scroll enabled. So what was the other thing I disabled? Other sticky scrolling. Oh my god, Tim, thank you. That's made my life so much better. That I can cope again. Okay, in my schema, that's right. So create table if not exists is the syntax I want, I think. So create table if not exists, that. Okay, and then if I find a terminal, what I hope I can do is go to Haskell showtime API SQL, and in my PSQL I can just pipe in schema, I hope, create a table, and I now have a table called people, and it's got ID integer, name should be not null, I guess, and is host should have default false. Okay, it's close, but not quite right. Is it drop table or delete table? Can't remember. Drop table. Okay, try it again. So name is text, not null, and is host is boolean, default false. I hope it's false like that. Find out. So we can run this again. And show people. Looks good, I think. Looks better anyway. Okay, so I have my people table. I'll start putting the other tables in there as I go, actually. Okay, so now add host, we should be able to do is add person where host is true. So this is what we need to do. We can just say this is just add person dbh. See, if I flip the arguments around a bit, I should be able to say it's add person false, person true, sorry. So we go bool to that. Get rid of that one, and then here, over here. Okay, not quite, because a host is not. Host is not a person. A person is just a name. Maybe I don't need a type for this. Okay, so I'm gonna undo my moving of bool, because actually it makes more sense to go here, and I'm gonna have to write the arguments out anyway. Okay, so we got db, we got a host. We don't say get name of p, we just say p. But then I can rename it to name. I cannot. Okay. Throw away those things. This is name. And down here, given db and a host, we just pass them through. So db, db, and then get host of h, and then true. True. Okay. And our participant becomes the same thing almost, but it's false. And let's actually get participant. description of P. Okay. And then in theory, if I go back to commands, the next command was remove. I don't know bother that one yet, but list. So list hosts is calling load hosts, which is calling load. Okay, so in theory, oops, in here it's just be like load hosts. I might call it list hosts because it's load sounds very file specific. You don't really load stuff out of a database, or maybe you do actually. I still think list sounds better because that's what I want to do. So connection, and it's got IO list of host. So this is only the hosts I'm getting. So list hosts given some DB equal to do, and then now we want to do some selection stuff. So just grab that because it's got an example I want to do. So we're going to say select name from people where is host is true. So that's a result. And then from that, we want to get back all of the, what does the result look like? We want to take the names basically and turn them into hosts by passing out a constructor. Maybe get ID. Okay, so this is going to be a list of, doesn't know yet. Okay, it's going to be a list of something. And in this case, it's going to be a list of texts. So I should just be able to map over that. No, it's a list of only texts. Sorry, that's what it is. So I can still map over it, but it's going to be a bit more careful. So I could say we just did a map inline, couldn't we? So we're going to say given some row, no, given some only name, you're going to go to host of that name. We're going to map that over result. Please stop doing this. I must update some stuff. Where am I importing host? Let's just import the type constructor as well. Okay. So we could do pure of that, but it feels a little bit weird. This is pretty complaining because it doesn't know the type of the thing, or no, it doesn't know only text. What does it know? Can it come back as a string? I thought it always came back as text. A quick look. So where have we got? Extracting results. So select that thing and then this looks more like what I want actually. This thing's saying 4M, but I don't really want 4M. I might want mapm though. We're saying given name and age from now query, so ours has been name. And they are unpacking it because it's text. Okay, so can I just say map'em? And the type of map'em is, give me the type. Where is it start? Okay, so we have a function, then we have a list of A's, and then we get the B's. So map'em and then the function, so given some name, calls host on it, so I can just say host, and result. No. What type of res? It says a list of text. So this returns a list of from rowable things, which is that usually needs to be a list of text. I don't want to map them then, so I can I just say map. Can you say pure? No, because I suddenly get this error, don't I? No instance from row text. That seems really weird though, because in their example, I'm sure they had text. Okay, the number of columns we ask for must match the number of elements in result tuple. So this is it's a weird thing, isn't it, where it can't be a tuple, so it must be I think if it can't be a tuple, it's an array of only that thing. There's some weird thing about only. Yeah, it has to be a list of only that thing, because it's like a single row is returning, so it can't return a tuple. Okay, so this is actually going to be a list of only only host, only text, I guess, in that case. So let's go back to Google for a second. If I have only, no, I have a list of only A, and I want to go to a list of A, there is no helper for that. Okay, can I go from only A to A? From only. So can I map host dot from only over the result? Yes, I can. Okay, now this assigned to variable and doing pure doesn't seem quite right. Saying it like I could stick it on one line and replace res with this, but actually it might get a bit long to read. So let's leave it at that. Okay. So in theory, list hosts should work. In theory, right. So now if I go to my commands, instead of doing storage.load hosts, oh no, okay, now we're going to get messy because I've told it needs to satisfy this interface storage, and then you get an append of something that satisfies storage, which my new postgresql doesn't. So what I might do is temporarily run hosts prime And this is going to be a bit more explicit. So it's going to go from some kind of monad.io but it's going to go from a list of string, and it's going to run under m, but here we will take a connection. And what was a connection? Where does connection come from? It comes from PostgreSQL simple directly. Okay, it's going to be a connection and that. Okay, and then run host prime, where we have list, which we should do add as well. So add name, and this is equal to, it's not stores add host now, it's just going to be postgres, what did I call the file? PostgreSQL storage 2. Wow. Storage 2 dot I might just call this SQL. Alias on the way in, and we want to call add host. Is that right? Yes, add host. And we're going to pass in weirdly. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to take the name, turn it into a host, and then pass it to something which immediately just unwraps it. Okay, so can I import this? Will it work it out? Yes. That doesn't run under appm connection, it runs under IO, so we have to lift IO it. Lift IO of that. Another not exhaustive, it's not the one I want yet. Couldn't match IO with host to IO. Oh, because it needs a database. App is a reader T over appm of S. S is called, it's a storage, so how this works, that's how we get the storage. Okay, cool. So doing this in line might not work very well. Let's call it run add hosts prime. I'll do that vertical, and then we'll do this. We need to get the name. And we give it type, so run add hosts prime is going to go from some text, and it's going to run appm connection that. It's actually a string at this point. I can get asks. I didn't want that one. I think I want state. Reader, sorry. So this has got a name. Okay, so storage, variable not in scope. What a mess. I thought I'd just quickly inline it, and that's not a thing I can do easily. Okay, now we cannot take our string and turn it into a host, so it's going to be text.pack. This needs to be mono.io. I thought I'd just do it inline quickly. So I just noticed a question, Tim. Only is for a one tuple. That's correct, yes. So I can't have a tuple one element in it because of the parser, I think. I think it, oops, can't differentiate between thing being a one element tuple and thing being brackets round an expression. Okay, I now have a run add hosts. Also, for some reason, it doesn't, I don't know why this is the case actually, what we're thinking about. It doesn't return only text. It returns this. Oh no, that's because it's returning all the rows to me. Sorry, it's a row of only text, that's right. Okay, run hosts prime of list. Let's do run list hosts prime, which I need to write, and then run hosts prime of anything else is error, don't understand. Okay. I'm going to import it to make it stop complaining. Run hosts prime. I run list hosts. Okay. So run list hosts prime. It's just going to say, as long as m is in mono.io, it's going to run under app m connection. We get our storage, and we don't call add host, we call list, list hosts. I forgot to define the function. List hosts prime of nothing equals do. It doesn't return nothing, it returns a list of hosts. Okay, that's fine, but this has to be our unit. So what we do is, these are our hosts, and then we do the the mapping of 4m. So given some host, what are we going to do with the host? We are going to say postgresql of, you can say to.postgresql of get host of h. Avoid lambda. Let's first of all import this data text.io. Then avoiding the lambda. Let's see if I can do this without its help. So it should be that, I think. And then import 4m. It's going to be lift.io of those things. No. Try it again. Okay, lift AO makes my life more difficult. But that's not the answer. Okay, expected type is this thing, but the actual type is host to M0. But doesn't that... I'm very confused now. What did I do before? I did a mapm. Sorry, the mapm of print on the hosts. Try that. Mapm of print. I just noticed the error at the end of my line. I think that was the problem. Let me just put it back to where it was before. This is all getting a bit long. Okay. We could say hosts is this. And then we say that. And we can import the correct 4m. And now we can avoid the lambda. And now this is the wrong type. That's why I had mapm before. Okay, because that makes a bit more sense, I think, because I have already run this on array and extracted this. So this is now a list of hosts, not a list of IO hosts. So I could say let hosts equal that. Nope, I cannot. Oh, that was not the error. Okay. What are we up to 4m? It's coming up the wrong way around, goodness sake. Right, okay. So we ask for storage. Using storage, we get a list of hosts. Then for each host, we run this, which will pull out the name of the host, then print it and lift that printing into IO. Yeah, which I do need. Okay. So let's go back to main for a second. Be cast commands that run hosts prime. Oh goodness. So now I need to feed it all the way back, which I'm not going to do. So I'm just going to do run prime. So given mode.io of m and a list of strings, I'm going to run it under appm connection. And then run prime of why did that go as a separate thing? That makes no sense to me. hosts is cast commands dot run hosts prime. Oh, sorry. It's not just host, but it's hosts followed by the subcommands. Subcommands. And then run prime. Oh, anything else is error unexpected command. Then import connection. Restart SP. No connections available. Why can't I import that? Oh, because this is now in main. Okay, so we go back to Cabal file. Nope. Build depends. There. Let's give that a second. So wait to make that turn off notifications. Yep. Now I can import it. Okay, cool. So we have a run prime, and I'm going to say run prime that. Okay, and now my env is wrong. So here, I'm just going to say new connection. Let me say connection actually. And that's IO of connection. Is that. So now we can say, let's just call it DB for a second. This is going to be connection, which we will import up here. Then we pass in DB here, DB here, and make up env make up env prime is going to go from connection to up-env connection, and then make up-env prime, which is going to be up-env 2, and import that, and export it here. Back in main, this become that. We need to import no. Here we can say remove all the imports. I don't know why I did like that. Okay. Might compile. Let's find out. So we can say cabal build to see what happens. Oh, unexpectedly worked. I'll run this API and I don't want to run API, I want to run hosts. Hosts list. There are no hosts, okay. Host add Bob. Capitalize Bob, why not? List has got Bob in it. That's surprisingly working. So here we say select star from people. It's got Bob and his host is true. Whew, okay. So back to commands. We get like a very quick participants. I don't think I'm going to get onto episodes in this. Okay, this is going to be run at participants. And this is going to be this. I like the type safety of saying I'm going to give it a host, but it is annoying because I'm going to have to copy this whole thing just to call it participant. It should be singular. That should be plural, okay. And we're not going to add a host, we're going to add a participant. And it's going to be a participant. So I need to import that. Okay, and then run list hosts. Oops. It's going to be run load participants. We're going to list participants, which we need to write. And then we say get participant. Okay, and we'll export those. Okay, so the problem we have is list participants doesn't exist, but that should be quick to add, right? But because of the type safety, I need to copy and paste rather than, well, maybe. The problem here is this is the same, but this is different. So it gets me back a list of text, but unfortunately I need to do this. Stop doing that. Seems to be a bug in the LSP that when I haven't imported the type constructor, it just kind of errors rather than just fixing it. Okay, so the only difference here is this and this. So let's do a list people, which takes a connection. I'm going to say for all A, no, for all A, we're going to take a connection. What does it mean, a legal symbol? Okay, let's not do that then. Right, so we're going to take a connection. We're going to take a function which goes from text to A. And we're going to turn a list of A's. Okay, so given some db, not quite that. So it's going to take a connection and a bool. So it'll be is_host, is host. Try again. And this is going to be is host, and it's not going to be participant, but it's going to be, oh, we take another thing. So we take is host and some function. We run the function there. Now, okay. So can't do many things. What are we going to do? We have a function which goes from text to A. So this will be like participant. I'm going to switch the arguments around, actually, because in the wrong order. It's not the problem, but it doesn't seem right to me. And then we will put our function here, but it's not going to change anything. Okay. So we select this. Oh, hang on. It needs to be IO of A. That's part of the problem. That's the entire problem. Okay, good. So list participants. Again, if I put a connection at the end, it lets me write nicer definitions, I think. So we'll just stick it here. So list participants should be list people participant false. And list hosts should be list people participant true. Wondering if I can write something nicer for this. It's not participant, it's host, sorry. I don't really need this bool, do I? Is host is, I can't compare these things, that's annoying. Yeah, I can't compare, you can't compare functions. This is what I'm trying to do, because it wouldn't make any sense. Okay, I'll put the bool back in. Okay. It's still quite short, it's just annoying. I can put this true and false in place. Back to here, build it. I can still list my hosts. Can I do participants? I cannot. Participants, that should fix that one. I don't know why I didn't complain. And also back into main. We have participants. Then we shall run participants. that again. Cool, and then we can add Bippy. We cannot. Bippy ends up as a host. Did I get the invitation wrong? So run ads participant says add participant, which says add person true. Okay. Build it again. So the participant called Poppy. Okay, that now works. And then hosts. Okay, how are we doing? 5 minutes. Can I do the add if not exists thing? So I'm kind of curious as to if I add an index, so the database is preserving uniqueness on this table. That was part of the motivation of going to this people table. What happens when I try and do an insert that violates the index? I guess we could find out by running it. So can I say unique? Will it build an index for me, or do I need to explicitly do I need to explicitly create the index? Let's find out. Drop table people. No, I want to go to here. Now I can do the PSQL piping in schema. I cannot just type unique like that. Okay. I haven't written any Postgres stuff for a while. PostgresQL unique constraint. You put it at the end, or very at the end. Okay. So name text not null, unique. Guess it makes sense, right? It's the type and then it's the constraints. Where did I put my command? My terminal. Okay, let's create a table. That's good. So back here, if I list the host, there shouldn't be any. That's cool. So let's add a participant called Poppy. And let's add a participant called Poppy again. Okay, it throws an SQL error. So, because I am not, and because it's not returning the either type, I'm guessing it's an exception. So I'm going to use bracket, I think, or maybe just catch. Got an example. So catch the computation to run, the handler, and then it runs under IO. So it'll be catch and then do my thing, and then if it is a particular error, then particular error, then I can do something. Okay. Don't know what I'll do yet. I don't know where to put it, but let's add it in here, I think. So we can say catch. This is my function. Oh, how to write this? Where go is do these things. Okay. Catch go, and then we have something which catches SQL error. And we can just say to.putstring there was an error. Okay. Do any more specific than SQL error? Not really. I'd really like to catch that it's a duplicate, but oh, what does SQL error look like? SQL error. Types exceptions. Okay. SQL state, message, blah, 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 blah. And then a lot of detail. This is the exec status. That's probably not what I want, really. It's not a format error, query error, but it's not going to tell me very much. It'll just tell me what the string is, and I'll have to pull it out by hand from there. It doesn't look like very nice error handling. Okay, so it's something like handle error, and this is going to go from an SQL error to IO of that. So handle error, and if this is an SQL error, it takes a lot of arguments. So SQL error takes the state, we don't care about. Well, what is the state? Fatal error, I think it was. Okay, and then the next thing is exec status. Oh, that's what I wanted, sorry. What's the SQL state? Don't understand what that is, so I'll ignore it. But it was a fatal error, and then we want the error message. And detail and hint. Okay, let me just go back to here. So state, that number, no idea what it is, fatal error, but message, and then the detail and the hint. Okay, so from the message, I can look for it starting with duplicate key. So I'm going to stick a guard in here. and say is it like starts with? How do you match the beginning of a string? It's also listed a. Can't remember the name of this function. Is prefix of. That was it. It's actually going to be duplicate error is prefix of. So we have this, then we say to.putstrin, and not just there was an error, but specifically t.pack name is already in the cast. Why is fatal error not imported? Okay. So if we get an error and it's an SQL error and it's a fatal error and M begins with duplicate error, then we set it in the cast. Otherwise, I do need to bar, don't I? To.putstrin of e at putstrin of what e is not can you say error of show e? Yes. Okay. And handle error of anything else. Just do that. And then here we can say catch go handle error. Control exception catch. Okay, so this needs to be lift.io. That, and this needs to not be lift.io. Oh, wow. Okay, how do you use catch when the thing you're running is not under IO? Do you know what? I am going to come back to this next week, I think, because it's going to take me a little while. Time's running on. So next week I will have a look at this again and work out how to catch and handle the error in a nicer way when I'm trying to insert in the database and I get a database duplicate exception error. I'll try to remove some error repetition stuff and so on, but I'll spend a bit more time in it. I'll look up catch properly or alternatives to catch where it's not running directly in IO, but running in something else which implements mono.io. Yeah, cool. So that's planned for next week. Slowly making a little bit of progress, but I'm actually making the code a lot messier in the hope that eventually I'll make it tidier again. But yeah, thanks for watching along. Thank you in particular for finding how to turn off that setting that was really annoying me. And yeah, hopefully see you next week. Goodbye.